Hey everybody, it's Nintokis. It's been a minute, but we're back again with more Twitch follower drawing time lapses. Today we're going to be looking at Giga for Alex numbers. I'm just going to forego all that. But Giga actually coming from Punch-Out Wii. He's very muscular, and I know I go a little bit ham when I draw like huge buff characters. But I really don't like his design. Like, I understand why it exists. This actually wasn't made for Super Smash Bros. 4 is when Mac got in. Yeah, I made Mac. I don't even know when he got in. No, they made this for a multiplayer mode in Punch-Out Wii to replace the Star Punch. Otherwise, you would just one-hit KO your friends, which I do anyway in Smash. So, well, that's when I land the KO punches. But I digress. Punch-Out Wii was actually my first Punch-Out game. I think I might have messed around with the original in, I think, Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I think that was included with the NES games you could play on there, like as little mini games. But I don't remember. But Punch-Out Wii hooked me. I was a fan from then on. So all the music in this video is actually going to be from that version of the game. This is my initial sketch. If you guys have seen my other videos, you know what this is about, but I do feel the need to explain it again. I always try to copy some official art before I kind of jump into the thumbnailing process, where I try to kind of maneuver the character into being in an original pose rather than just straight up copying the art itself. Whether I'm doing art for friends, for Twitch followers, or for actual commissions, I feel like I'm almost ripping someone off if I'm directly copying art. And I know our boy Butch Hartman got into a little bit of hot water over that. So here I could see I'm just trying to mess around with a similar thing. I wanted to draw him facing forward, and I've realized in looking at a lot of the recent follower drawings, I've been drawing a lot of characters just kind of facing forward with one leg in front of the other. And I know there's only so much that I can do with this, but there are only so many ways you could draw a person facing forward. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm trying to be conscious as an artist, and I think that's important. Not that I see anything super wrong with this drawing outside of the handful of flaws that it does have. But over here you can see I've settled on one of these, or I think I'm trying to go for one more. But not to digress too far out of this, I really wish we saw more Punch-Out. I'm going to be honest. I understand why we haven't gotten a sequel yet, because there's only so much you could do with the Punch-Out formula, being more of a puzzle game than a boxing game. But I do feel like even a Switch port is in order, you know? It'd be really nice if we got an enhanced Switch port of the Wii version. I think we have access to the OG on Nintendo Switch Online, but if you... This is what happens when I draw on stream. I forget what this tangent was about. That's fine. I like to have a little fun. Sometimes I do these while I'm actually live on my Twitch page during my art streams. It's a little bit more difficult for me, given my setup and my rig, to record and stream at the same time without getting frame drops. But thankfully, I've kind of devised a solution, and you can see I'm kind of getting closer to a proper idea of what I want to do here. And one thing I liked to add, or appreciated that I added, excuse me, English, is as Little Mac gets damaged, both in Smash and in the original Punch-Out and in the Wii Punch-Out, or I think it's in the original. Anyway, you can see bandages on his face as the match goes on. And you can see he gets a black eye while he's fighting, or if he gets knocked down a few times. And, you know, it's not, like, dynamic. You know, he'll get knocked down and just, like, a bandage will magically appear on his face. But I like that. It's just a little bit of battle scars. It's a reminder that boxing can be brutal. And this game, even though, again, it's more of a puzzle game than anything, it delivers. And there's one thing I want to address right here in terms of self-improvement, and I'm pretty sure I call myself on it. There, right there. You can see I move the legs around. This is absolutely valuable if you are just starting out in digital art. Don't ever think that once you put a line down, it's there forever. Use all the tools at your disposal. Use the cut tool, move your lines around, try to reposition things so they are more in proportion. One thing I've been noticing that I do very often is I sometimes make legs a little bit too large. And in response to this, like, if you cut out the legs of a picture, everything looks proportional, the head looks good relative to the torso, but then when you zoom out, the legs are just way too big. And for some reason, I just keep doing that. So the last couple of art sessions I've had with myself, I've kind of been my own Doc Lewis, standing in my own corner, yelling stuff about chocolates and not doing that as often. Oh, man. But I do think it's important as an artist to always critique your work. And I used to go a little bit overboard about that when I was in high school. Like after every drawing, I would sit there and I would break it down, and I stopped just sort of insulting my own art in order to improve. And I don't think that's the way, but I do think that it's important to, as you draw, just be conscious of yourself, be conscious of your habits, and try your best to deduce whether or not those habits are actually conducive to a better drawing or a better workflow. And if you find that you're doing similar things all the time, first off, don't do that, because I've been told repetition is the enemy of the artist. In some cases, not all cases, but like if you draw like arms the same exact way every single drawing, eventually you're going to need to be conscious of that and be like, okay, well, this drawing an arm in the same way when the position is completely flipped isn't going to help you. And, you got to strike that balance of, critiquing yourself, accepting critique from others. That's another huge one. And also just being happy with your work. Because I feel like you could also stagnate yourself if you're not happy with your art. And that one took me a long time to figure out. But another one that I'm also coming to is improvement also comes in seasons too. Like that motivation, that improvement. And I've had a couple of artist friends go through the same thing recently. I found myself jumping out of that rut in the middle of August, in the middle of the year of the corona, I guess. Is sometimes you just kind of get down on yourself for other things. It doesn't always have to be about your art. Sometimes you just, in general in life, kind of get you down. But you can't let it affect the things you actually love to do, because that's when it hits you the hardest. Sometimes you just got to accept where you're at. Accept sometimes that's, you're trying to draw and it's not really coming out the way you like, but you just got to do it. You got to work through it. Keep doing the things you like until you like them again. Probably not the best advice, but that's what helped me. As you can see, I'm trying to jazz up the legs here. And what I'm doing with that back leg is something I've noticed a lot of comic book artists do, is if a limb isn't the direct focus of something, they'll just straight up black it out. And this isn't even, I shouldn't even say a limb, like straight up entire sections of the body, even if they're not using like harsh noir type shading. If the detail doesn't matter and only serves to distract from the drawing that you're trying to make, it's better sometimes to just not really hide it, but stylize it, I suppose, is probably the better word here. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just kind of pushing it into the back, because when you add value to something, it is pushing it further into the background, so to speak. Obviously, this is a 2D drawing, but I know that another application about this that you've probably seen in many anime-type drawings or just drawings in general is, let's say somebody's wearing like a huge collared shirt or something, or like a jacket that's got like a huge collar, something that pretty much covers a lot of the neck and shoulder area. If there is a spot of the neck that would normally be exposed, a lot of the times artists like to just completely black out that area below the chin. And what it does is it still makes it look natural while also diverting your eye away from that area. And that not only saves you time as an artist, but also relieves you of the biggest headache of trying to make sure that the cloth drops down on the shoulder just right and does all this stuff. And of course, this is not like a absolute rule. And that's the fun part of art is there's no absolutes in how you draw something, but it's just a technique some people use. I like to use it myself sometimes, and I'm just kind of rattling off some of the applications and why I apply them. But, that's neither here nor there. We're coming down to the home stretch of our boy. I'm just adding a couple little details on the gloves to try to make them look shiny. I don't think I succeeded in that endeavor, but, you live and you learn. That's how it is. I also don't remember, did I add little tassels on the end of the boxing gloves? Because I tend to do that when I draw Mac, but I might have just decided to not do that this time. Yeah, and another thing about Giga Mac that bothers me is his mouth almost looks completely different than regular Little Mac. I don't know. I get the design, but it ain't me, man. But thank you again so much for the follow, Alex. That's me tabbing out, trying to make sure I get all those numbers right. 060909. That's how it's going to be, and that is our finished lad. You can see me kind of going back in, trying to make things look a little bit more anatomically correct. It's a little bit of an awkward pose, but I had just straight up committed to it. It is what it is. But there he is. Thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, where would I be without my patrons? Deanna, Tiana, Elena, I appreciate you guys. If you want access to my art early and any more information about that, as well as exclusive looks into my sketchbook and process, all the information for that is going to be down below. But until then, you can dig through my other videos. If you don't want to pay a cent, I don't mind. I'm back on DeviantArt. You can see all my social media links right there. And I appreciate you if you watched this far. Until next time, have a good one.